The sunlight was fading outside the wide glass windows of the coastal bar when Evan Sloane walked in, carrying the kind of heaviness only a widowed single father truly understood. His tired eyes scanned the room, not in search of company, but for a moment of silence, just 1 minute without responsibility tugging at his sleeve. Yet destiny had its own ideas. Because on that ordinary afternoon, as waves shimmered under the sinking sun, Evan took the only empty seat at the counter, unaware that the woman sitting beside him was about to shift the course of his life forever. And she, Claire Dutton, the youngest CEO in her industry, looked like someone who had everything, but her loneliness was louder than the music playing around them. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected connections, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's Book to support more heart-touching stories like this. Evan didn't come to drink. He rarely did. He simply needed a place to breathe before heading home to his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, whose constant questions and energetic spirit sometimes overwhelmed the quiet grief he carried. His life was a cycle of working double shifts, packing lunches, doing homework, and pretending he wasn't exhausted. Every day felt like treading water in a sea that never calmed. Claire, on the other hand, had come to the bar for a different reason. She was running, from meetings, from pressure, from boardrooms filled with people who feared her title but never truly saw her. The world called her powerful, brilliant, unstoppable. But power didn't erase loneliness, and success didn't quiet the ache of an empty home. They sat in silence for minutes, two strangers with different worlds but identical emptiness. Evan fiddled with the edge of a napkin. Claire stared blankly at her glass. Something about the quiet between them felt grounding. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic. It was simply two tired souls resting near each other in a world that demanded too much from them. She noticed the faint paint stains on Evan's hands, the sign of a man who worked hard and didn't complain about it. He noticed the tension in her shoulders, the sign of a woman who carried burdens no one thanked her for. When Evan finally left the bar to pick up Lily from her friend's house, Claire watched him disappear through the doorway. She didn't know his name. She didn't know his story. But she knew one thing with unsettling clarity: for the first time in months, she'd felt seen. Not as a CEO. Not as a symbol. But as a person. The next afternoon came quickly, and Claire found herself returning to the same bar, telling herself it was just for a break, though her heart knew better. She scanned the counter, searching for the man with tired eyes and paint-stained hands. And there he was, sitting exactly where he had yesterday, looking like someone trying to hold himself together with nothing but the threads of pure determination. She took the seat beside him again, hoping he wouldn't notice the hint of relief in her breath. Evan had spent his entire day rushing between job sites and school pickup schedules, wondering if he was doing enough for Lily. Her teacher had hinted she was withdrawing at school, becoming quieter, drawing sad pictures. Evan felt like a failure. A father who loved fiercely but always seemed to come up short. When Claire sat down beside him again, he didn't know why her presence felt oddly comforting. Maybe it was the calm she carried, or maybe it was the quiet understanding in her posture, as if she too had lived in the shadows of expectations. Over the next hour, the two strangers shared small confessions, simple, cautious truths that weren't meant for sympathy but understanding. Evan thought about how he had once dreamed of becoming an artist before life demanded he trade brushes for labor jobs. Claire revealed in subtle hints how success had come with a price: endless pressure, sleepless nights, and a home that echoed with silence. As the daylight brightened the bar, a gentle warmth filled the room. Something had shifted. Not romance. Not fate. But hope. The third afternoon, Claire found herself waiting outside the bar before it even opened. It confused her, being someone always praised for control, yet her heart pulled her there. Evan arrived carrying Lily, who had the same shy smile her mother once had. Claire softened instantly. Lily, curious and bright, clung to her father's hand with a mixture of courage and sadness that only a child who had lost too much too young could carry. That moment changed everything. Evan watched as Claire crouched down to Lily's level, showing a tenderness he hadn't expected from someone so polished and powerful. Lily's guardedness eased. Her laughter, so rare lately, returned in small bursts that made Evan's chest tighten with relief. Claire, despite her wealth and influence, looked like someone who had been waiting to love gently again. Days became weeks, and the three of them formed a quiet bond built not on romance but healing. Evan found himself smiling more. Claire found herself breathing easier. Lily found a new sense of safety. And slowly, something beautiful began to grow, not rushed, not forced, just a tender unfolding of two incomplete lives learning they didn't have to struggle alone. When Evan finally realized he looked forward to seeing Claire more than anything else, he panicked. He didn't want to fail again. He didn't want to bring someone into Lily's life only to lose them later. But Claire had already decided. She wasn't going anywhere. In the glow of another warm afternoon, Evan realized that sometimes the universe doesn't give second chances wrapped in perfection. Sometimes it sends them quietly, in unexpected seats at a bar, in tired smiles, in gentle conversations, in people who appear when you need them the most.